Good day, good day, good day, everyone. Woo! I feel crooked. Okay, there we go. There we go. So I'm back. Well, I was kind of back on Friday. I did a live on Friday. So welcome everyone. I don't know what I did with my phone. So we won't be live on Instagram today because I can't find my phone. So, welcome everyone. Welcome to Morning Sip with Rev Melissa. I am Rev Melissa, and as you can see, I am back at Studio B, back at Studio B after a amazing week at Disney with 27 amazing teenagers, and I'll share a little bit about that during the week. So, in case you've forgotten who I am, I am Rev Melissa, and my passion is to support people in transforming their lives. I am here to support you. My mission is to give inspiration through spiritual life coaching, preaching, and teaching that ignites the divine spark within you to live life in joy, connected to your yes. So if you need support, if you've been looking for a spiritual life coach, here I am. You can contact me through Instagram, Facebook. Just send me a direct message. I am currently doing group life coaching, group spiritual life coaching. I will be starting my second cohort soon, soon. And I'll share when that's going to start. So if you've been interested in group spiritual life coaching, stay tuned for the second cohort. So, oh my goodness, y'all. Let me see who's with me today. Hey, Shay. Yes. Thank you. It's good to be home. It's good to see you, Brian. I hope you're doing well. Yes, connected to your yes, life and joy. Same to you, Brian. So, I don't even know where to start. I'll just start with today is April 30th, which means that this is the last day of our, let me see if I can put up the graphic for it. This is the last day of our 30-day time fast, our 30-day time fast. And it was interesting being aware of time at Disney because one of the things that I noticed at Disney is there are no clocks. There are no clocks. There are no clocks. At least I didn't see any clocks at Disney. And they do that on purpose because you step into that world and it is another world. It is another world. And I had the opportunity to go to each of the parks except for Blizzard Beach because it wasn't open yet. And each one has its own different feel. I really was impressed by the intentionality of each of the park themes. So, by no stretch of the imagination am I a Disney fan. I'm not. I'm not a Disney fan. But I was still quite impressed by the intentionality and by the consistent alignment of every single employee that had anything to do with Disney, from the resort that we stayed at to each and every theme park. And it just reflected to me how important being in alignment is, how important it is for me to be in alignment with my thinking, my speaking, my doing, and my being. It is so important for that to be in alignment. And so that was one of the epiphanies that I had that I shared last week. So it was wonderful. And I don't know what else I want to say about it right now. Maybe on Friday I'll share some pictures. But I was very proud of my daughter, Aria. She made her Disney debut. She choreographed one of their numbers, 9 to 5, and it was amazing. All of these kids, teenagers, are extraordinarily talented, each and every one of them. And they were lovely. Like there was no, I would say out of 100%, there was less than a percent of drama, less than a percent of drama. And even that was nothing compared to if I was a teenager. If I was a teenager on that trip, those chaperones would have had their hands full. Believe me, they would have had their hands full. But everything was good, Linda. We had perfect weather. It was lovely. It was absolutely lovely. So, as far as the 30-day time fast, I'm going to continue because it really, really helped me to stay very present, and we were on a time schedule for sure. And what was really funny for me is consistently hearing how people experience my daughter Aria. And they were saying, if you think you're early, you're not Aria early. So it's even a thing. They call it being Aria early. So you might be 10 minutes early, but Aria will already be there. And they were telling me stories about going to school and thinking they're early to class. And Aria's already like in the classroom, set up, doing, already looking at her work like a half hour earlier. So that was the thing, being Aria early. And at points, I felt like Aria was chaperoning me because she is a time cop. She is a time cop. And what I'm referring to in the book, The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks, he talks about people who are time cops, and people who are I can't remember the other reference, but people who really don't pay attention to time and can sometimes be late, right? But time cops are people who are like sticklers for time, right? And my daughter is a stickler for time. So she was like, "Where are you?" And it wasn't even time yet, but she was like, "Where are you?" Sending me reminders of what time we're going to meet. It was so cute. It was so cute. And so that was like a running joke amongst me and some of the kids that you got to be Aria early. If you're not Aria early, then you're late in Aria's world. It was very funny. So yes, Fee, I see you. You're a kind of girl. Yes, yes, yes. So let me see. What else do I want to share? So I'm continuing the 30-day time fast. So if you want to continue with me, please do. And all that we're doing is affirming that we are the source of time. We are flowing in that energy, that time flows through us. It's the inflow and there's an outflow. And we are in that current. And so we are just being very present to where we are right now. And we are trusting and believing that we are the producers of time, that we could bend it, we could stretch it, we could do all kinds of things with time. And I have had many, many examples of that happening for me. So please continue if it's been working for you. All right. So, what else do I want to share before we get into our new series? Friday, I did a live from the resort that we stayed at in Disney, and it was the 100th episode for 2024. I have no idea how many episodes I've actually done, but believe you me, it's been more than 100. So it's just 100 for 2024 thus far. And so we celebrated that on Friday. So that was really cool. And we're just going to keep going. We're going to keep going as we enter into May tomorrow. So I was thinking about the new series, and this word kept popping up. And then I was checking you out yesterday, Fee, catching up on some of your past shows from last week. And you kept saying the word. And I was like, okay, obviously, this is a word that I need to make into a series. So I want to see if y'all can guess what the word is. So this word was the 2020 word of the year. It was the 2020 word of the year. Do you know they have words of the year? Yeah, they do. They have words of the year. And this word was the 2020 word of the year, mainly because of what was happening in the world, right? The pandemic. And so this became like one of those key words for 2020. So if you know what the word is, put it in the comments. Put it in the comments, and I'll give you a second or two. I know there's a little delay, but let's see if anyone can guess it. Fee King, you should be able to guess it. What's the word of the year? What did you say? I'm excited to learn. No, Fee, you know, because you used this word so many times last week. Resilience. That's a good guess, Shay. That's a good guess, but that's not the word. That's not the word. And it was the 2020 word of the year. And in 2021, it was the business word of the year. Anyone else? Shay said resilience. I'm going to give you like 5 more seconds to write it in. Once I say it, you're going to know what it is. So I'm going to put a banner for it because you're going to know exactly. You're going to be like, of course, that's the word. And it was not a popular word before 2020. You got it, Fee King. Pivot. Yes, that is the word. That is the word. Pivot. So I was inspired, Fee, because I kept hearing you talk about it. And then last week when I was away, I kept hearing that word over and over and over again. I'm glad you were excited. Yep, Shay, that's the word. That's the word pivot. So I don't know if you all recall, but I was not familiar with that word before 2020. It was not like part of my vocabulary. But once the pandemic happened, oh my God, you couldn't get through anything without hearing that word, somebody using that word. So I looked up the definition, and there's many definitions for it. And the last definition is the definition that applies to how we're using it today. So the definition is to modify a policy, opinion, product, etc., while retaining some continuity with its previous version. To modify while retaining some continuity with its previous version. And then the origin of the word is hinge, Hinge, hinge. And the word was first recorded. Now we thinking this is a new word, right? The word was first recorded in 1350 to 1400, somewhere along there. And it's a French word. It's derived from French, the French language. And origin is hinge, right? So I was like, hinge, that's interesting, right? So of course I went to look up hinge. And in essence, hinge means to hang, right? And it's also a tooth of a comb. who knew that? I didn't, right? So hinge, hang, pivot. That's where we're going this week. So it made me think about asking you all this question. What pivots have you made or are you making in your way of being with yourself? What pivots have you made or are making in your way of being with yourself? So I'm being very specific here. I'm going to write that question because I could say, what pivots are you making in your life? But that's so broad, right? And you know me, what's most important to me is how we are being with ourselves, how we relate to ourselves, how we treat ourselves, right? So, what pivots have you made or are making in your way of being with yourself? So, I know for myself that the way that I am with myself now compared to how I was being with myself before. So let's say before COVID and after COVID, right? BC before COVID, AC after COVID. I know BC's before Christ and after Christ, but we're going to make it before COVID and after COVID, right? I noticed a shift. I noticed that I was pivoting in the way that I related to myself, right? So I see you, Shay. So one of the pivots, and if we think about pivot in the origins of the words hinge and hang, right? What was I hinging my life on? What was I hanging on to? What was I now yeah, what was I hanging on to? And before COVID, I hinged myself very closely to my work for other people, right? The pivot for me happened AC after COVID. It already started, like, the shifts were very subtle, right? The shifts were very subtle for years. Slowly, 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 slowly. But then when COVID happened, like for many people, it propelled me, right? Like a rocket to 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 pivot. But it was more than a pivot, y'all. I'm gonna have to find another word. It was a pivot, but it was like a gigantic pivot. It was a gigantic pivot. So if pivot is to modify while retaining some continuity with this previous version, there is some continuity with the previous version, but not much. Not much. So, how about you? How have you pivoted in the way that you are being with yourself? So I saw you, Shay. Radical acceptance and integration of all parts of myself. I am one inside of here as well as with my creator. Yes, Shay. Absolutely. I feel all of that. Yes. And that was a big, if I had to say what the biggest pivot was for me, was definitely God as my source. Really believing, trusting, having faith that God is my source. Not this job, not my husband, not all of the things that I used to hinge on, right? I used to hang on to this job being my source. And I made a huge pivot. I turned to God in a more profound way, believing and knowing, a deep knowingness that God is my source no matter what, no matter the appearance, no matter what I'm going through. God is my source and God has the how, right? That was a huge pivot for me in my level of trust and faith and knowingness. Because I always believed it, but the pivot became knowing it, trusting it, having faith of God, not just in God, but having faith of God. That was the pivot. Yes, fees sharing. I pivot, and most most while in Atlanta. With your ministry, I learned and believed that God is my source. I was hinged on me doing it, and I was incorrect. Yes, yes, Fee. Believing that we out here all all on our own, and it is all everything that needs to get done. It is by us alone, right? And to pivot to know that God is your source, that God got your front, your back, your sideways, all of you. Whew, that's a deep breath right there, isn't it? Yes. Michelle, true for me also. God is my source, trusting all is well. Yes, 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 yes. So that's where we're going. So I invite you all to just take a moment and reflect, right? Reflect on the pivots in your life and your way of being with yourself. All right. So I'd love to hear what you have to share. And we're going to get into some joy news. Let's get into some joy news. So I've shared that the 30-day time fast is going to continue through May, and it might just continue through the rest of the year. We'll see. But we are affirming that God is our source. We are not complaining about time. We are not complaining about time. It was so funny. I was sharing it with Aria, right? And Aria was like, that just sounded like some excuse to justify being late. And I said, that's exactly what a time cop would say. I said, was I ever late? No. She said, that's not the point. I said, that is the point. We do not complain about time, that we have a deeper understanding that we are the source of time. So we affirm, we pause, because I catch myself, right? The heightened awareness is a gift. So I find myself feeling anxious sometimes. I got to be somewhere, I got to do something, whatever, something is due. And I catch myself and I take a moment and I pause, I take a deep breath, and I say, I am the source of time. There is more than enough time. And then I go, and it all works out. It all works out. So that's the invitation. So tomorrow is May. And so at Rockland Centers for Spiritual Living, where I am the spiritual director, senior minister, we are going into a new theme. So April was our yes theme, and it was perfect for our anniversary of Morning Sip with Rev Melissa. And so May is celebration. So we're going to continue celebrating, y'all. So our theme for May is celebration. And this Sunday at Rockland CSL, we will have service in person. So if you are in the New York, Rockland, Jersey area, please join us. The service is at Rhino Comedy Club in Suffern, New York. You can go to rocklandcsl.org and all the information is there. If you can't join us in person, please join us on Zoom. The Zoom link is there on the website. And we also live stream on Facebook at Centers for Spiritual Living, Rockland County's Facebook page. So I hope to see you all either in person, or online. Also on Sunday, I do the other sip, which is called Sunday in Praise, where I share an inspirational talk that I've given. And so that's at 10:30 a.m. Service is at 10:30 a.m. also. So you have a choice of how you want to experience Rev Melissa. Let's see what else is happening. What else is happening? Tomorrow, y'all, is Community Cafe, where we do, let me see, tomorrow's the first Wednesday. So tomorrow we will be doing visioning. So I will be leading a visioning session tomorrow. Again, you can go to rocklandcsl.org. All the information is there. Just click on events, Community Cafe, and the Zoom link is there. The life visioning happens on Zoom 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Okay. And basically, if you've never done life visioning, it is basically a series of questions that I ask. We start with meditation so that we can create this field of love. Mm. We create a field of love. We tap into a field of love, and that is where the answers come from. So it's not our answers, it's love's answers, it's the universe answers, it's God's answers. So we are catching God's idea for our lives through a series of questions. So if you've never done it before, I strongly invite you to come and experience for yourself. Okay? So that is tomorrow at 7 p.m. on Zoom. Go to rocklandcsl.org and all of the information is there. Please save the date. Our next meditation with the full moon is May 23rd, 8:30 p.m. We had our last meditation with the moon. I think it was April 23rd, if I'm not mistaken. That was pre-recorded since I was in Disney. So I hope you all enjoyed that. And before I go on, I just want to shout out, speaking of our community cafe, I want to give a shout out to Shay, who leads our energy community cafe on the fourth Wednesday of the month. She's an amazing energy healer. So please join us the fourth Wednesday. I don't know if I said Sunday, the fourth Wednesday, 7 p.m. And I'll remind you when we have the one in May. So thank you so much, Shay, for sharing your gifts in the way that you do with our community. All right. So I do. No, I'm not. We're gonna do it tomorrow. We're gonna do it tomorrow. But I want to say this. If you have not been watching Sekou Wright's Get Rich 101, you need to watch it. He's on Monday through Fridays, 9:45 a.m. Eastern Time. And you need to go to SekouWrites.com because Sekou has launched he's pivot. Sekou is a pivot. Sekou has launched. Come on, Sekou, show the people. That
Yeah.
is new hero hoodies. Sekou, tell the people
Yes.
about it.
Yes. So, hero hoodie, I replaced the O of hero with the ribbon for stroke or stroke mindfulness. So that was really important to me. I was trying to figure out how am I going to get the stroke involvement, right? And I couldn't figure it out. But finally, it happened, and I just launched this shirt. I just launched the hoodie just now. And Reverend Mel, you were the first person to buy one for you and your husband. I was like, what? What? You ordered one already? So we're going. We're going. So I am collecting photos taken with you during the month of May because May, as you told me, is Stroke Awareness Month. And so I want to be posting photos of us rocking our hero hoodies with the mindfulness stroke stroke ribbon, stroke ribbon. Yeah.
Yes, they cool.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for this. And isn't it just so wonderful? Okay, I gotta stay present to the time. Isn't it so wonderful that you created this, not being aware that May is Stroke Awareness Month?
And then you said, I was like, okay, I can get people rocking their photos. It's so perfect. And I got a picture of, if you watched my show earlier today, they showed a picture of someone rocking a hoodie. All right, so now I'm worried about time, but go watch my show, the previous version, and check it out. But yes, I'm so thankful. So,
Yes, yes. So Sekou's gonna be on tomorrow. We're gonna talk more about this pivot in his life, the pivot in his life. Thank you, Sekou. So you could go now. The new hero hoodies are available now for purchase. Go to SekouWrites.com. SekouWrites.com. Sekou, do we have a SekouWrites.com up here in the banner? so people can see. There we go. SayCoolWrites.com. Go there right now after the show and order your new hero hoodie today. And when you get it, take a picture and send it to Say Cool because he is going to do fabulous things. Yes, it is perfect timing all the time, right? All the time. And that's why it's so important that we listen, right? Because Sekou got an intuitive hit to work on this, right? And he listened. And look, May is Stroke Awareness Month. And what does Sekou have? A new hoodie to highlight and to inspire, right? To inspire. Oh, I'm so excited for all of this. All right. And always, please check out the Feed King Show Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Check out the Feed King Show. Fee is so inspiring, and she will get not just your body right, but your mind right also. So please check out Fee King, the Fee King Show, and be alert because she has a new fitness challenge coming up starting on Monday, I believe. So you want to follow Fee King. If you're not following her now, follow her also on her social media. All right, everybody. Wonderful to be back with you all. I missed you all. It's good to be back live. Think about the question that I posed because I'm really interested to hear about the pivots that you have made and how you are being with yourself and how you are being with yourself. All right, y'all. I'll see you tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Peace and blessings, peace and justice. We are living life in joy, connected to our yes.